Hey everybody, today I want to share with you guys a tool that someone gave me about 10 years ago that pretty much reshaped how I make documentary films. I would probably say this tool is more valuable than any of my equipment, any of that stuff. It's really the hub of how I find stories. And I want to tell you guys a few things. The first thing is I hope it would really bring you some self-confidence. It'll help you kind of meet new people, give you a framework to kind of see any situation and have a ton of fun with it. And last is it genuinely is a way to serve and help other people. So let me get into it. Years ago, I was doing a film on a guy who's really good with acronyms. He was an author and he just simplifies ideas down to practical application. And he taught me a really cool acronym for being able to talk to people. And essentially it goes like this: SPEAK, speak. And the first one is story, second one is passion, the third one is encouragement, the fourth one is assistance, and the fifth one is knowledge. And I'm going to break those down for you. And hopefully it's a tool that you can kind of use whenever you meet people or you're just looking to find out human stories. And that's what I do as a documentary filmmaker. It's why I love what I get to do, is that I get to meet people and find out what's their story, talk about their passion. Hopefully the film will encourage other people. A, I'll tell you about in a second, and K is knowledge, is what I learned something from someone else. So here's how it works. Anytime I meet someone new, essentially, I ask what their story is. Literally, what's your story? But typically before I can ask that question, that can kind of come off creepy because people don't really know my intention, is that I'll find an icebreaker question, something that just has to do with who people are. And a lot of the times people are trying to talk to me, they just might not be using words. That can be the clothes they wear, that can be the sports team on their hat, that can be just about anything. They're trying to let you know something about them that they're passionate about. So oftentimes I'll see somebody with a cool pair of shoes and I'll say, those are a cool pair of shoes. Where'd you get those? And they'll tell me, and then at that point I'll just say, what's your story? Well, typically they will do one of two things. They'll say, where do I start? Or they'll say, well, what part of it do you want to know? And I typically don't answer. I just want to see what they're going to say because I want it to be their story, not something I'm searching for. I just really want to know who they are. So typically at that point, somebody will start telling me a story, something about their life, something about their kids, their marriage. It can go back 20 years. It can go back to yesterday. You just never know what people are going to say. And then from there, I simply ask the second question, which is, what's your passion? And you would be totally blown away. I've been totally blown away, let me say that, with what people have said when I've asked that question. It can be anything from the water guy, maintenance guy at my house who was changing a water filter, who told me about, he literally had his head in a box and he came out and he said, well, why do you want to know this? And I said, I'm just curious. I want to know what your world looks like when you're not helping me. And he said, I love model trains. I love building this kind of dream world in my basement. And it's really helped me to connect with my kids. And we go down and tinker around and we have this kind of expanding thing that we've built in the basement. But now our family kind of does things like we'll go to train shows, and it's given us kind of a space to have a relationship. And he was just, he came alive when I asked him that question. I met a CEO at a Kinko's who had a big pitch one time, and he had these cufflinks on and he was nervous and he was standing in front of me, and I knew something had gone wrong because he typically would have an assistant who would be doing all this. And he had a 5 or 6 Series BMW with the rest of his team out front. I knew something was going on. And I said, hey, what's your story? And he said, oh, we're here for a big pitch. And somebody made a mistake and we just have to have these things bumped off real quick. And I said, oh. I said, well, what's your passion? And he literally turned around and started telling me about his kids' hockey team and how he said, I just want to be able to get back tonight because I love when our family has kind of connected around our son, because it doesn't even matter if they win or lose. It's this adventure that we're on, and we're getting to know each other in a way that we haven't in a lot of years. So it really, the passion question can be a number of things. So that's story. What's your story? What's your passion? And E is encouragement. anytime I've met somebody and I know their story, I know what they're passionate about, at this point, I have a ton of information where I can encourage somebody. Maybe look at their circumstances in a positive light. Maybe I can look at their life in a way that maybe they haven't seen it. I've had more fun with this idea of encouragement and being able to give it to people as a gift. But, the reason is that we all need it. We all need a little bit of encouragement and somebody to maybe help us see the world in a new way. After encouragement, the next question I ask people is assistance. I just ask them, hey, what do you have going on that I could help with? Is there anything I can help with? And sometimes it's that question. Sometimes it's more specific because I know other things about their life. But when you ask to help someone, a lot of people in life just don't have friends that are willing to help, or maybe they just have an idea that somebody thought was crazy that they've shared with you. And to hear somebody kind of affirm them in that and ask for help or to give them help it's a huge deal. So I've found that people really enjoy that. Just that, and being actually willing to do it. I've met people that have told me about they were passionate about a well project in Haiti, and they were trying to raise money, and gave me his card, and I was like, well, if I really believe this, I took it home to my wife, and we called his friend that was trying to raise this money, and we made a donation, and we got connected with a whole other group of people that had a bigger idea than what we were doing. The last question I asked somebody is, what do you know that I need to know? And typically that can be a person, that could be information, but really the idea of this is kind of tricky, because a lot of people think that when you ask somebody, what do you know that I need to know? It's a selfish question. Really, in my world, it's a generosity question, because I believe in that Bible verse that says it's better to give than to receive. And so when I ask somebody to give me some assistance or some knowledge, what I'm asking them for is a free gift of something that they have that would be valuable to me. And it's almost like a gift to them to be able to give me something of theirs that has a low cost engagement. So story, passion, encouragement, assistance, and knowledge. That's how I've basically built my career of meeting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people through this, to the point where when I get someplace, sometimes my wife will tell me, we'll get on an airplane and she'll look over and say, don't do it. Like, she wants to sleep, it's a night flight or something like that. She'll say, don't do it. Because she knows that I'm so curious about people. Now, a couple of warnings about this is it doesn't work if it's about you. If it's selfish, if you have selfish ambitions, if you just want to get to know people to network for your business or something like that, it really doesn't work. People can read through inauthentic people pretty quickly. The second thing is that you really have to believe there's a purpose and a plan for everybody on this planet. If you really believe that there's something going on in someone's life, if we get to know them and have empathy towards them, that maybe something good will come out of it, I think this works. But if you go in just trying to get versus give, it's just not a very helpful tool. But third, I will warn you that you will never go anywhere if you really invest in this tool and you go out there, everything becomes curious. I can be standing in a line waiting and entertain myself through this. And I've met just some really amazing people, and a lot of those things have turned into movies. So that's one of the tools we use. And hopefully in the next few episodes, we'll be talking about some really cool other things that are real tools, physical tools. But I hope this was helpful. Have a great day.